It's bigger. Okay. So I just
Yeah.
want you to take a look at the sky, just the direction of the clouds, how it's kind of like wispy. So when we're painting the sky today, I just want you guys to pay attention to that. You'll be going, the same direction, mimicking the direction of the clouds and the colors too. So you can choose which colors you want. And this is what we're going to do. Today's playlist is brought to you by Spotify. It's the royalty-free music for today, if you wanted to know.
That's too funny.
I have to make sure that I pick royalty-free. I forgot about that. Okay, so for today's material, you'll need your watercolor paint, 2 cups of water, one to rinse your brush, one to add to your painting. You'll need a napkin, a round paintbrush, and then if you have, I know it's kind of late, but if you have one, a flat brush. If you don't, that's okay. You can use whatever brush you have. Watercolor paper, and then like scratch watercolor paper, and then this white paint pen, that's optional. You could also use yellow if you want. It doesn't matter. Or if you have like acrylic paint or something, it's up to you. That's just for highlights. Okay, so this is what we're going to do today. First, we'll do like a 20-minute drill. We're going to go over water control. And then the second step, we're going to sketch it. We'll lightly sketch where we want our trees and the different grass and plants. And then lastly, we're going to paint. And then you'll be learning about wet on wet. We'll do some wet on dry. You'll be pushing and pulling. I'll show you how to do that, and then lifting the paint too. Okay, so water control will be this is going to be our drill for today. It's basically like the value. So with watercolors, if you want it to be lighter, we add more water, right? And if we want it to be darker, then we add more pigment. So this is going to be like the pigment to water ratio. And when it's lighter, it'll be translucent, and when it's darker or it's more intense, then it'll be more opaque. Oops. Okay, so let's go ahead and start that. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. You can just give me a thumbs up if you guys can see it. Or you guys can see it. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is get any scratch paper you have, watercolor paper preferably. And then if you haven't done so already, you're going to want to spray, or at least like put a couple drops on your paints just to kind of wake it up. And for this exercise, you can go ahead and select any color you'd like. And then wherever you're going to be mixing your paint, go ahead and put like a few drops of water in there. I'm gonna put maybe about, I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 6. I'll put 6. Just have your napkin handy. So go ahead and select a color. So what you're going to do is we're going to put a little paint at a time, or pigment. So I'm going to go ahead and use, oh, hold on. Oh yeah, I know. Yes, it is. Yeah, with acrylics, doing the value scale is tough, but with watercolor, it's actually it's easier because all you do is you just add water. So
Really? Wow.
yeah, so we'll go ahead and add just a little touch of water or paint. And then what you'll want to do is, well, first you want to test it out and just see. Because sometimes it'll make like a puddle. So you know how it made like a puddle like that? What the technique is, if it's too puddly, what you'll want to do is, I guess, like this, the base here, the ferrule, you just kind of roll it to soak up some of the water, and then you can adjust the water so it's not too watery. So as you can see, I mean, it's pretty translucent, right? Then you want to take more paint, a little bit more. I'm going to put 2. And then I'll just kind of roll it again just so it's not so wet. And then you'll just want to paint it on. And you just kind of like adjust as you go. So this one here, it looks pretty watery still. So that means that I'm going to want to put a little bit of more pigment. And the more you practice this, the better you'll become. Like, it'll be like second nature. It'll just come to you without even you thinking how to darken and lighten it. Now, if you see like how there's a puddle right there, what you want to do is, if it's too much water, you want to make sure that you can just press your paintbrush like this so that it's somewhat pretty dry. And then what you can do is you can just kind of press and it will soak it up. Do you see how it soaks it up? So go ahead and try again. And we'll just do, maybe we could do about like maybe 5 squares, swatches, and see. Let me put the music up a little bit. I want this a little bit darker. Then I'm gonna soak, just kind of tap it. And then just keep adding a little bit as you go. There you go. And then finally, the last one would be, it would be like 90% pigment and like 10% water. And you'll see that it's very rich. And then after you do that, I want you to try now to see if you can go from dark to light now. So you can start again. So this you're going to add water. Oh. This is actually probably closer to this, so that means I need to add a little bit more pigment.
I'm having the same trouble I always have when I do value scales.
Yeah.
And that is like, I have, multiple blocks or squares, but there's not really a big value shift between them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. Try like just adding like a little bit and then adding more. Okay, I'm gonna try this one here too. Yeah, this is a good exercise to do. Let's see. Add more water. Then lastly, this would be great to do if you have a sketchbook or like one of those watercolor journals, and you can just put it in there. So what I'm doing right now is, because I think it was a little bit too dark, I'm just kind of wiping some of the paint there. How's everyone doing? So that's your value scale. If you want to, you can try another row. with a different color. I feel the hardest one to do is yellow for some reason. Try this
I think
one.
that's because it seems like yellow is really transparent.
Yeah, it's really light. This one is not a true yellow though. This one here. Let me try. Maybe one time we can also practice like whoa, this is not jazz. What's this? Okay. We can try practicing shade. Adding a little bit of dark. Oops, I got green in there.
So Kat, with watercolors, like with like for opaque paints like acrylic or oil, you call like tint when you add white. But for watercolors, just if you add water, right, then you're creating the tint.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the shade would still be black and tone would be the gray.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So then for the tone, you would add just like a little bit of black. Well, a lot of artists don't really use black. They use like a mixture of, they create their own blacks. So like, you know, with red, the primary colors.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I've heard. I still have
Yeah.
ivory black on my acrylics, so.
You have, oh, black. Yeah, I have also black too. Okay, so that's it for our exercise. So now is the fun part. So now what you're going to want to do is you can get your colors ready, whatever color you're going to create your sunset with. I chose yellow. I have a little bit of like this reddish pink color. Oh, I need to also make orange. And then I have purple. And you can do blue too. So I'm gonna add some orange here. Okay. I'll give you a couple minutes to prepare your paint. Oh, and then of course black too. You can use black or you can make your own black. If you don't have black, you can mix blue, yellow, and red. So once you paint, once you're I guess I'll give you the directions while you're mixing your paint. So what you're going to want to do first is you're going to figure out where you want your horizon to be. You can either put it like right in the middle, you could put it a little bit above. It's up to you where you want to place your horizon. Once you establish that, you're going to want to figure out too, where do you want your trees? How do you want your trees to look like? And you could put, and how many do you want? Okay, so I put like two here. I have like a squiggly one here, and then there's one that's just kind of peeking out through here. Okay, so we're gonna just a light sketch just so that you know where the placement is. Okay, so with a pencil, and you want to do this very lightly because once you paint, sometimes it's really difficult to erase the pencil mark. It's happened to me numerous times. So you can just go ahead and I'll make mine a little bit darker so that just so that you guys can see. So I'm just gonna, but you make yours light. Okay. And then you can just kind of just eyeball where you want your trees to be. You can make it, I'm just drawing lines. You can make them crooked, however you want. I'm gonna make one sticking out from here. Okay. Oh, I forgot to also mention, raise your hand if you tape your watercolor paper. Sometimes I'm a little lazy, so I won't tape it down, but the whole purpose of you taping it down is so that it doesn't warp and it doesn't buckle. So if you want, like before class, you can always just tape down the edges to like either like, I don't know, maybe the back of your maybe like a cardboard piece of cardboard or a book or something that you can, or your table, you could do that too. I personally like to put it on something that I can move it around with because I like to move my paper around. I can't just paint straight. So now after you trace it, usually what I will do is I have this kneading eraser, or and then I will just kind of like roll it over just so that it doesn't, you know, kind of remove some of the lead. But then I don't want to erase all of it so that I can see my lines. Okay. Okay, now for this, after this, what you're going to want to do is you're going to get whatever paintbrush you have. I'm going to use my flat brush. And then you're just going to get water, and you're just going to just do the top half first. So go ahead and glide your paintbrush across the paper. And you want this fairly wet. You want it damp. And then once you wet it, this part you may find yourself working a little bit fast because of you don't want it to dry. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of wisping it, dabbing it. I'm using orange. And you kind of just want it. You can also add a little bit of water to kind of like dilute it. And then this is where you can have fun and just add your colors of the sky. I'm just kind of dabbing it and I'm pushing and I'm pulling. You could make some parts darker than others. You want to make sure that it stays wet so that the paint can move around. So I'm adding a little bit of yellow. And you could kind of wisp it. On the top, I'm going to go ahead and add my darker colors, which is maybe like some purples and some blues. Just have fun with it. I love it when it bleeds like that too. It's so fun when it bleeds in the other colors. Just try not to mix it too much or your paint will look a little muddy. Oops. And add a little bit of blue here. And let's see if you want a little bit of white. Again, what you would do is make sure that your brush is pretty dry and then you can lift it. Let's see if you want a little bit of white. To show. Oops. So I'm just going to add some more yellow here. Add some orange. go. And then for the bottom half, you're going to want to do the same thing. But for this, you'll want to keep it like a yellow tone down the center for your sun. And then you could do some reds and purple. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet, but just make sure not to go too close to this line. If it's not dry, it's going to bleed. So you want to just leave a little space there. And then you can always fill that up later once it's dry. So I'm just gonna wet my paper. This here is the wet on wet technique. So when you wet your paper and then you put paint on top. There we go. And then same technique. I'm gonna start off first with my yellow, and then I'm just gonna kind of just make like streaks. Ooh, that's too orangey. And you can kind of blend it in if you want. Just a little bit. You want to show a little bit of white just so that you know you can see the ripples of the water. So you could do that lifting technique where you lift some of the paper if you want. Do a little bit of orange on this side. There we go. And then I'm going to add a little bit of some red or whatever color you use on the sky to reflect that. Some purple. There we go. Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that brand of
Yeah,
paint.
they're just like an expensive. I got them at Michael's.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I might have that one too.
Yeah, and it's like they don't they seem more viscous. They don't bloom so
Blue,
much.
yeah. How is the paint? Is it like not as vibrant,
Um
or is it pretty
well,
vibrant?
it's all pretty light, but I think part of that could be just since it's pearlescent.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it has kind of a shimmery. So I thought, oh, shimmery will be good
Oh,
for this. But like I
pretty.
said, yeah, it's very hard to get them to bloom.
That's neat that you're trying that out. Okay, so right now I'm just kind of just adding a little bit of lines, kind of. And I'm waiting for this whole thing to dry.
Did,
And then,
Kat, I have a question. Did
sure.
you um so for the horizon, the between the water and the sky, did you just preserve the white by not painting on it, or did you do lifting on that? Like there's that white line between the
Oh, right here. What I did was,
Oh, yeah.
oh, what I did because it was still wet, I just left a little line there so that it doesn't bleed through. But then once it's dry, you can go over it. Actually, we're going to be going over it with black.
Oh, okay, got
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
I'm sometimes impatient when I'm in a zone, like I just want to keep painting. So usually you'll want to wait. You'll want to wait first, but I just leave a little space. And if you want it more vibrant, you can add some parts that are a little bit dark. Okay, I'm not going to touch it now because I need it to dry. So once you're happy with your underpainting or the painting of your sky and lake, just let it dry. And then after that, we're going to, with black, we're going to start off first with the horizon. Actually, I think we can do it now. Well, no. Let me see. Yeah, if you want to, you could. If you want like that blooming effect. If you want the blooming effect, you could, even if it's wet, like more damp, not really super duper wet, or it's going to really travel. You can just kind of like just dab on that horizon. Actually, I kind of like it when it bleeds like that. You can make your mountains or hills. If it's still damp, let me try. I think I'm gonna regret it if I do. Oh, I think it's okay. Just make sure it's not super duper damp or it's going to spread. So if yours is dry, what you can do now is you can get your black and then you can trace your trees. So I'm just gonna and then you can draw some branches. And then what you're going to do is you're just gonna do a little stippling for the leaves. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on, sorry. There we go. For this here, because mine bleeded, I think I'm just going to, since it bled, I will probably go over it once it dries and make it a little bit thicker. Oops. You can make thinner branches if you want. Probably gonna put like a little bush or like a baby tree right here on the side. This here is wet on dry because you're just we're applying on a dry surface. So I'm gonna go over this to make it more. Then here you can also do a little bit of stippling on the bottom. I kind of like to create kind of like a vignette so that it frames your picture. You don't have to, but just gonna add some here to the side. And then for this, you could do the tall grasses. The grass goes up any way you want. You could either push and pull. You can make some thick, you can make some thinner, you can overlap it. You can put the little, what do you call those, cattails? Or any type of plant that you want to put. And then your last step would be oh. Yeah, if you have like a blow dryer handy, that would be like the best thing to do to dry it.
Yeah, I'm just now starting the black because I was blow drying.
Oh. Yeah, I think I need to get one of those like portable ones. A small one. I'm gonna make this one darker here. There. I'll make it a little bit thicker on the bottom. Oh. And then your last step, if you want to, you don't have to, you can actually make it yellow or whatever color you want. I don't know where I put my paint pen, so I'm just going to use this acrylic paint. I mean, you could even use watercolor too. I'm pretty sure that will work. Let me see. Just make it more intense. And make sure that you really clean your brush and dry it. And then you can just add the sun right here. Add a little bit of white. We could add a little bit of like some shadows on that too if you want to get fancy. You could add a little bit of yellow. And then with that white, you're going to want to kind of do a little bit of highlights on the water with a thin brush and just kind of wisp it back and forth with the very tip of your paintbrush.
Yeah, do you ever use a fan brush for watercolor for that type of kind of
Oh,
blending?
I actually have not tried a fan brush yet, but I do want to. I don't even think I have one, but I do want to try that. What do you use a fan brush for?
Well, I've only used it for acrylics, but sort of the same type of thing. It'd be like, let's say you've done like kind of wet and wet blending of different colors, maybe for water. And then when it's just barely damp, then kind of take the fan brush and drag it down. Yeah.
Ah, I have to play with one of those to like, yeah, you could experiment with that too. I've been wanting to learn how to properly use a fan brush. That actually would be really nice to do this too. Like this, you could just kind
So
of,
I'll tell you one of the things I told Anita, because I said my academic knowledge of art and painting far outstrips my hands-on ability and experience. So I know, seriously. So, because I was using some terms and she was all impressed, thinking I had all, I'm like, oh,
yeah.
it's like, I just really feel like I have academic knowledge, but the hands-on is still, like I said, sometimes my results are, like, oh, whoa. Yeah, I was like,
I think you got both. You're really good. I think we are our own worst critic.
little baby steps.
Yeah. And there you have it. So you can continue. If you're not done, you could still add on to it too. Like I could still add on here. You could put like rocks. You could put maybe like birds or any animals if you wanted to try. And there you have it. So I wanted to show something really quick. Um, before I let you guys go. Oh, can you guys see? I lost you guys. Where are you? Hold on one second. Oh, you can see my Spotify. Wait, what? Okay. So for our next class, can you guys see my screen? You guys can see my screen, right? Our next class, well, this one here is going to be we'll be doing like a floral wreath for 428, and that one is a different class, so it won't be the same class as this one. So if you want to check it out, it looks like this right here if you go to Eventbrite. And then um for May 5th, this is going to be a mystery. So I was going to ask you all, like, what do you want to paint? If you can, you could either type it in the chat if you know how to, or you just kind of tell me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one topic on random, and then I'll post it on my Instagram or my Facebook so that you know what we're going to draw or paint for the next time on May 5th, if you can make it. So go ahead and type in the chat if there's anything. Oh, Cinco de Mayo is your birthday, Sherry?
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're so lucky. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Well, not for a few weeks. Yeah, don't make me older than I am.
My birthday is actually next week. So
Oh, which day is your birthday?
April 20th.
April 20th. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so let me know if there's anything that you want to paint. Tell me, and then I can do a little spin the wheel or select a topic from a hat. Anything that you guys are interested in drawing, or you can just say it too. You don't have to type it.
I was starting to type birds and blooms, maybe something that combines birds and flowers.
Okay, birds and flowers. Okay, birds and flowers. Awesome. Anyone else? Or you can always email me too and let me know. So I hope you guys had fun. Thank you so much again for attending. Thank you so much for your donations. If you want, you can also check out my Etsy shop. And then you can follow me on Instagram. That's cat.creates. And then I'm also on Facebook if you haven't. You can follow me there too. And I hope to see you all soon. On April, the end of April, or Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, Kat.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Bye.